Welcome everyone, Costin here on Serious Gaming with the video about the MMO genre and where it is right now. For over a decade now, we've been stuck with the dominance of World of Warcraft on the MMO market. And why is that? Why is WoW so successful to this day? Why does it have such a large player base? One that dwarfs even some of the most successful free-to-play MMOs. It does dwarf the Guild Wars 2 player base, it does dwarf things like PlanetSide 2 and so on and so forth. And why is that? Why does World of Warcraft succeed when so many MMOs fail to come even close to it? And what it really comes down to is two things. One, polish. World of Warcraft was a very well developed game, it was very polished. Yes, it had bugs, it had issues, every MMO has them. But it was very polished. Now there have been some MMOs which were polished, which had good gameplay, which were well done, which ticked all the boxes and so on. But what those MMOs miss, like WildStar, for instance, I would argue WildStar, despite the issues that it had, was a polished game, was a finished game. It had everything. It had PvP, it had PvE, all of that was in the game, all of that was put in the game. Certain things didn't work, but there was it was basically a finished MMO, and one of the very few MMOs that was actually a finished product at launch. But what WildStar lacked, and what World of Warcraft had, was the magic, the sense of wonder, the sense of amazement that you got while exploring the world. And some people would argue, oh, it's just the fact that World of Warcraft was your first MMO and so on and so forth. But that's not true. There are games that still amaze me, even though I've played games in that genre very similar to them. There are games that still amaze me, that that leave me gobsmacked when I first played them and so on. And in terms of the MMO genre, there are no games that do that yet, that have come out so far. And it's not going to be EverQuest next or anything like that that's going to change the MMO market. I think EverQuest next will actually fail on quite a few levels. It's looking pretty good. It's probably going to be a good game, but it's not going to be something that amazes people. It's not going to be the next big MMO, that record-smashing MMO that World of Warcraft was. It's not going to have the same level of quality that World of Warcraft has. And World of Warcraft achieved that sense of wonder, amazement, and so on, by having a very detailed world, by having developers that put a lot of effort into crafting said world, the level design, the world design, the NPCs, and so on and so forth. It's not really down to polish, it's just down to design in general. World of Warcraft had very, very good designers, and it showed inside of the game in terms of the world, in terms of the gameplay, and so on. And that worked. When I'm looking at the MMO market right now, it's actually the one game that I feel personally, and it could go horribly wrong, but it shows a lot of promise, and there's a lot of reasons to believe that this game is going to deliver. It's Star Citizen. Now I know some people might be angry on the idea that I would consider Star Citizen an MMO, but it is a persistent, massively multiplayer game. It's probably, it's not an MMORPG. MMOs don't have to be RPGs. They don't have to have a leveling process. They don't have to have, be theme park games or anything like that. They don't have to be similar to WoW. That's a fallacy right there, that they have to be similar to WoW to classify as MMOs. That's bullshit. And in fact, I would argue that perhaps MMOs trying to be similar to WoW, it's a disaster for them waiting to happen. You can't compete WoW. World of Warcraft has spent a lot of time polishing its game, improving its gameplay, and so on. So competing with that is problematic in itself. And besides that, World of Warcraft has old school gameplay and has very outdated concepts. Even though they've done things to improve them, significantly improve them, I might add, over the years, it is an outdated game on a lot of levels. So we need something new. And I feel that Star Citizen does deliver on making an interesting game, a compelling game, and giving that sense of wonder and amazement that World of Warcraft gave people in the past when they first started playing it. I just look at the graphics of the game, they're amazing. I look at the world design, I look at just how vast of a world they're making, just how much effort they're putting into making this universe inside of the game. And it's really hard not to walk away impressed from it. And they've got a lot of money, which they got from people that want to support the game, because just like me, they are amazed of what they're doing. I should point out that I haven't actually spent any money in Star Citizen. yet. I probably will put on, I'll probably switch to a plan or something along those lines when it's closer to release, but not yet. I haven't put any money in that, but you're looking at something, or looking at the game that was crowdfunded, still is crowdfunded, that is doing a lot of things right, that is innovating, and yet it also has some old gameplay concepts that they're improving, and just a very well-crafted game in general, where you can see that the love the developers have put into it. I really didn't think that much about Star Citizen when it was really first announced. Oh, it's a space simulator, it's a PC exclusive game. I found the concept interesting, certainly, but didn't amaze me. But then it's like, oh, we're gonna make it a persistent online world. It's gonna be a huge world. There's gonna be carriers in space that you'll be able to get control over, and you're gonna be able to assign bots to control turrets, spacecraft, and all that. Or you'll have fellow players controlling those sections of the ship, and that struck my interest. And then they added the city hubs. Then they added shooting mechanics in the game, and it's like, this is impressive. This is a very ballsy game. This is a very... they're taking quite a few risks, but I think it's going to deliver, and I think it's going to be a very impressive game overall. And I think it's going to be that one game that is going to amaze and wow people. It is probably the next big MMO. And that's a great thing. You know, that's really a great thing. It's not going to compete directly with World of Warcraft. You know, it's two very different games in terms of gameplay, design, and so on. But it is going to be an MMO. It is going to have a lot of people playing it. There are probably millions of people that can't wait to buy a copy of Star Citizen and start playing it. And they will probably play it for a while, because the game will have a lot to offer to them. And as a result of that, you know, Star Citizen is just going to deliver. That's my personal opinion. I didn't make this video just to ramble on about how Star Citizen is going to be great, though. I made this video as a point that about what MMOs should be trying to achieve and what they have failed to achieve. They've just tried copying WoW, and it has failed miserably for them. Anyway, Costin here on Serious Gaming, signing out. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.